Well, afternoon troops, another day, another drain. It's been a while since I put a video up. Conditions have just been too bad, plus I've been really ill with the flu, so just couldn't get out. So, enforced rest. Finished work early. I've got spare 3 or 4 hours before it gets dark. Thought I'd do a little bit of dead baiting before I went home. So we're got 3 rods in the water. Just add a tentative run on the right hand rod. A single hook as always. Didn't convert. I think there's obviously a jack. But hopefully if I put it back in exactly the same spot, hopefully it will return. But that's a good instant hit, which I like. Water's down quite a bit. We're still pumping through. Still chocolate brown. Very slippery underfoot. But you know, it's fishable, so we've got a few hours to catch some pike, blow the cobwebs off, it's just been too rough, both outside and inside. You know, it's been a rough couple of weeks. So got my beady eyes on them floats. I say I've had one tentative run on the sardine. So on my left hand rod I've got a small roach, middle rod medium sized roach, and the right hand rod I've got a whole sardine. And we'll see which ones produce and which ones don't. Last time I caught fish along here, they all went for the same rig, the same bait, the same rod, all of them. So let's keep an eye on that. But at the moment it looks lovely. It's about 6-7 degrees, overcast, bit of a breeze, nothing much. It's a perfect day for piking in my book. You know, it's not bright. Alright, the water conditions ain't the best, but we'll pump a bit of oil into them baits after half an hour, and then we'll see where we go from there. But at the moment, that's a good start. I'm pleased with that. You know what I mean? You get 3 rods out and you're just sitting there contemplating, have I come to the right place, come to the right swim? You get a little tentative run. As long as that ain't the only action we see, you know, it builds a bit of confidence up, doesn't it? You think, oh, there's pike in the area, so let's catch them. So there's the left hand rod, mid-water, halfway across. So it's a paternostered roach, very small roach. Inch and a half at the most. It's about 18 inches off the deck. That's the first rod cast out. The middle rod, 3/4 of the way across. That's a whole roach, static dead, traditional float fishing for dead, you know, with dead bait set up on that one. And the right hand rod, which I say we've had a tentative run on. That's a whole sardine on a running water paternostered rig. Again, about 18 inches off the deck, and that. So we've had some interest in that. But I think the bait was too big for the fish, so it might be a case of scaling down and sticking a sprat on. As you can see, it's a coloured brown. Water's well down. They've run it off really hard for the last week or two. Let's see what we can catch. Well troops, that's 2 tentative runs on the right hand rod now. This time got to the rod, I see the float come back up and it all went quiet. So I thought, leave it, maybe it'll come back. But he never. The bait was a little bit chewed up, but nothing major. So again, something small was taking the biggest bait in the water and then couldn't swallow it. Felt a bit of resistance and let it go. So, but a quick swap around now. So my right hand rod, where it's both times it's gone on the sardine, the whole sardine. Obviously that's a sea dead. So I've put a sprat on. About 3 or 4 inches. That's another sea dead, smaller size, so hopefully whatever's there, if it is a jack, he'll take it and we'll know. We'll nab him out, get him out of the way so the big girls can feed on. Or is it only sardines they want? You know, it's a fine line of getting it right and getting it wrong on some venues. Sometimes, don't matter how long or often you fish a place, one day they could be just having one type of bait and that's it. So I've discarded the sardine completely. I've had a swap round. I've put a medium-sized sprat on that right hand rod now. Put that exactly bang on the spot where I've had 2 runs. So if there's anything there and it just wants seed heads, you should wolf that down. The whole sardine now I've put on the middle rod and flicked it out to the far bank. Now if that goes again, then obviously it's sardines they're after, and we've got to adjust our tactics slightly, because my rigs, the single hook rigs I'm using at the moment, they're all designed really for a bait 4 inches max really. Now the sardines I've got in my bag are all 6 inches minimum, so there could be a bit of tweaking going on there, but at the moment we'll find out. And then so on the left hand rod I've now put the big roach on that, so I've dispensed with a small roach altogether, put a medium sized sprat on. Hopefully whatever was around will take it. When you've got a very small window of opportunity and you've only got a couple of hours, I mean, I could plonk the sardine back out again, but there's no, is there any point if I'm just going to get another abortive run and no action? No, you're not going to convert. So I've tried to tweak it up a bit and see if we can get a fish out. You never know. Let's crack on. Again, it's the whole sardine that's getting the interest. Different rig, different position, and it still gets a little bit of interest. Not enough for it to take the bait, and it's toying with it. That's a single hook rig, so all you don't panic. I'm not leaving the run too long, not leaving trebles in the fish's mouth too long. It's a single hook rig. I've got to wait for that bait to go into the fish's mouth. You wind down too soon with these single hooks and you're winding down into fresh air. See, it's not taking it. Now it's took it. See, now it's moving. See, with them single hooks, see, and they weren't hooked properly, you see. Big bait, small pike, and it weren't hooked properly, and it's got away. Well, there we had, for the 3rd time, the whole sardine was the one bait the pike homed in on. And I've moved it to a different rod, different rig, different part of the drain. I put a small sprat, well, a medium-sized sprat on where I got my 2 runs before, hoping that the smaller bait would instigate a run. So a different rig, different part of the drain, and the pike's homed in on the whole sardine again. And I let it play with it for a long time. You know, people will be watching that saying, oh, he's left it too long, old internet warriors. But when you've got them single hooks, you've got to make sure that that bait has been taken before you wind down, otherwise you're winding down into thin air. And as it was, I waited a while. As soon as that float went under, it started running with it under, I wound down It was holding on for dear life, but as soon as it got anywhere near the bank, it just let go. Because obviously it's not hooked, it's holding the bait. So I've put half a sardine on this time, see what happens. Smaller bait, maybe it'll instigate it, but the roach on the left hand rod, not been touched. The sprat on the right hand rod, not been touched. Only baits they've shown any interest in is a whole sardine. Now, I don't even know if a half sardine's going to work. But we're running out of time to keep adjusting and testing out little theories and that, you know. You get a run. Now, I know that's why a lot of people, they go to circle hooks and single hooks, and then they go back to trebles because they don't like the conversion rate. They're quite unhappy about how many bites they're missing. But just having a chat with one of the local residents. Sorry I was interrupted there in my flow. Yeah, so that's why a lot of people, when they go over to single hooks, after a while they go back to trebles because they don't like the conversion rate. Now, up until today, my conversion rate was 100% on the circle hooks this winter, but that's on the paternoster rigs with small baits. Now, here on this drain today, they're not having the small baits at all. The only bait they're interested in is that big sardine, and that's it's not really designed for a single hook, so I don't think big baits like that. So that's why I've cut it in half, and hopefully we'll get a run on it. But I really want one of the left hand rod or the right hand rod to go to paternostered deads on the single hooks, because they've had 100% conversion this winter. I know what you think, well, why don't you have all three rods like that? But you've got to change things up and have different approaches and different methods to see what's working. Otherwise you could be sitting there with three methods all the same, three baits all the same, and not catch anything. You don't know, do you, till you try. And if it was a big pike, that's the thing, see, if it was a big pike, that whole sardine, it would swallow it no problem. So that's the flip side to it. If it was a decent fish, it'd have that sardine away and I'd hook it. But I saw that one near the bank. It was £7 if it was anything, you know, it weren't that much bigger. So it weren't the biggest of fish, but still got big enough mouth to wolf a sardine down, you would think. So 3-0 to the pike. So let's carry on, see if we can catch something. Well, personally I thought we would have caught today. the old recurring problem of the conversion rate with single hooks again, really ugly head. They've all been on the static dead, traditional setup for dead baiting. So when I get a run on me paternoster rigs, I'll see what, you know, if I get one. But you know, they're only having the sardines. I say I switched the sprat onto the right hand rod. I was getting loads, you know, I had a couple of runs on the sardine there, abortive runs. I don't want to know. Roach on the left hand rod, don't want to know. When I put the sardine on the middle rod, that's the one that had, again, the interest. Twice I've had fish holding onto the bait and then letting go just as they get to the bank. So they're not big fish, but fish is a fish, and you know, if you get 4 runs in 4 hours, you know, you should be converting them. That's a sad thing, you know. I've been doing the single hooks now for 3 or 4 years, well, 3 years now, and it's I thought I'd had it cracked this winter. You know, as I say, my paternoster rigs have nailed fish every time. I've been really happy with them. End of last season, when I started using them, they nailed every fish then. And you know, there's no reason to, I should assume that they're not going to nail a fish if I get a run. It's just that today the fish seem to be after the sardines, and the sardines are just too big for a single hook. So it looks like it's going to be, has to be back to the drawing board on that one. I think it's going to be small baits again. There's no point in me sticking a big bait out, because all I'm doing is spooking the fish. Once they've felt the resistance, felt you winding down and pulling them in a bit, that's it. They're gone. They're buggered off. And then you're left twiddling your thumbs. So I might as well just have my 3 rods out with small baits, and then I don't know, it's fishing game. It plays with your head, doesn't it? You know, it's you know, a lot of people have said the single hooks don't work. You've got to go with trebles. You can't afford to be missing runs on a cold winter's day, etc., etc. And I understand that argument. I just wanted to go down a different route, see if I could change things up. You know, fishing the same way for pike for 40 odd years, you know, nearly 50 years. I wanted to change it up, try something different, and so up until today I was all right. You miss a few runs and you know, it plays with your head. It really does. And what I need is one of the paternoster rigs to go. Convert one, and it'll boost my confidence again, and everything will be right with the world. But at the moment, I might have missed my chance because there's half hour of daylight left. So we've had 4 runs in 4 hours, all on sardine, all missed. Not good, is it? B minus, C minus, could do better. I would say it's an F. You know, you should be converting your runs. Would I converted them if they were trebles? I don't know. Because I would have hit them with trebles. I always hit my runs straight away. You know what I mean? Striking hard, set the hooks. Well, you know yourself with trebles, you can do that and strike into thin air. So, I don't know. Crack on. Positive, cup's half full. I'm going to catch before it gets dark. Well, the first trip of 2024 has gone down like a lead balloon. I've had 5 runs and they've been so finicky. Oh, here we go. Well, here we don't go. You heard it go, didn't you? Electric By the time I got to the rod, float had stopped. Nothing. That, whether that, I mean, like, it's jacks out there. I mean, I've had really finicky bites. It attacked that bait, the roach. There's no teeth marks on it. It run it about 10 yards to the right. There it go again. I thought we was in for a screamer. So yeah, say 2024. So that's 6 runs in 4 hours, and we've not converted one of them. But that was the only positive one I've had. But it was so short. Well, you heard it go. Oh, by the time I got down to the rod, it stopped, lost interest, and hasn't come back. So I'm going to get on. I'm going to watch that float like a hawk. Because often before you get any indication on your alarms or your float, you can see the line twitching and stuff like that. So I'm going to watch them with my beady eyes before it gets dark. And here we go. Well, we caught one and we got there in the end. It's a decent double. Picture's not great this time of night. Let's see if I can get some light on it for you. But it's a good double. We're off and running. First fish of 2024. There we go. Not the greatest of pictures. I'll see if I can get a better one than that. But she's a good double. I'm going to weigh her just to find out how big she is. It's a good fish. We're off the mark. 2024. We got one. Welcome back, troops. Going to get her back now. She's been in the water for 5 minutes. £13.5. So we're off the mark for 2024 with a double. Let's get her back now she's nice and recovered. But the first fish on the running water paternoster rig, bang, nailed on. Although it was finicky, I say it took it first, dropped it, left it, come back 2 or 3 minutes later, bang, there was no doubt it was on. Nailed every fish it's had. Every run I've had this winter has boosted my confidence back with single hooks. Every one on the paternoster rigs has been nailed. That static dead, is it the rig, or is it the fact that it's a big sardine? I don't know. That was a 3-4 ounce roach. Bang, nailed on. It's dark now. I've still got 2 rods out, and I pack this rod away slowly and have a slow pack up. For the first time in a long time, I've had one before I packed up in the dark. Thanks for watching, troops. Happy New Year.